again, everybody. Back again. Some of y'all been wondering, well, what happened to me? I was putting up videos pretty regular, and all of a sudden it just quit. Some of my older subscribers know what happened. Went back to work. It happens every year. I have a seasonal job. I work in road construction, and in the wintertime we're laid off. So that's when I have time to get all my projects done and stuff like that. Now, I do still have projects during the summer, and occasionally I do make videos. I also have had a few comments which I can see why some of y'all would be concerned about it. I've had people asking, did you quit on the tiny house? Have you just abandoned that project, or whatever happened to it? Did you finish it and just not film it? No. I am going to be doing more work on the tiny house, and that's going to be coming up real soon because I want to get moved in there. This winter I had some problems that were unforeseen going into the winter, and ran a little low on funds. And now that I'm back to work, that's not going to be a problem. With all the changes in the world, things are not as dependable as they used to be, financial stuff. But if I had it to do over again, if I knew how things were going to work out, I probably would have waited a little while or not spent as much on it, and I probably would have found a lot more free materials. But anyway, that's beside the point. I don't like to go into financial stuff, on my channel. That's kind of what's going on. I'm back to work, so making paydays again, so it won't be long, and I'll be right back on the tiny house getting that done. Anyway, today, now, my oil change has came due on the Silverado, and I've been driving it back and forth to work. Still a great truck. It's doing wonderful, but I want to keep it doing wonderful, so I am going to keep up with the maintenance on this. The previous owner was meticulous on his oil changes, checking all the fluids, keeping up with air filters, everything. So I'm going to continue that trend, and I'm going to keep up with my oil changes. It has came due. Now, it is over by probably 500 miles. That's not that bad, but I don't like to do that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to change this oil out. Okay, so what all do we need to change our oil? Okay, you will need a pan that will hold the capacity of oil that your vehicle is supposed to hold. You want one with more than just, like, this truck holds 6 quarts. That's what I've got here to replace. And this holds about 8 quarts. It's some kind of lid off something, not sure, but it holds about 8 quarts. So you don't want, like, I wouldn't want to use a 6-quart pan, because the problem with that is, if it's up here somewhere and you go to drag the pan out, it is going to slosh out the sides, and you're going to make a mess that you were trying to prevent in the first place. So get you an oversized container that will hold more than what your vehicle has. It's even better if you get a container that is actually made for oil changes. I'll put a picture of one up. It's probably better because you can just put the cap on it and you can take it and recycle it. This you have to put into other jugs. I don't have one of the other kind. I just use this all the time. You also will need a funnel to refill the crankcase with oil. You'll need a tool to remove your filter, and you will need whatever size. This is a 15 millimeter for a Chevy truck, and most GM vehicles have a 15 millimeter plug, but you need whatever size your plug is. You need that size wrench. And as far as tools go, that's all you need. Now, I would recommend having at least one old rag to clean up any spills or clean your hands or whatever. You will also need the oil, whatever kind of oil that you want. I like Pennzoil, and I like to go full synthetic. And this is the high mileage, because it does have 138,000. I guess that's supposed to be high mileage. And the weight is 5W30. Now, how do you know what kind of oil to put in your vehicle? One way that you can always tell on a more modern vehicle anyway is on the oil cap. It will tell you the weight of oil that is recommended. You can also look in the owner's manual, and it will tell you, going by the weather, what kind of oil you can use. You can use 10W30 in this engine. 5W30 is preferred though, and it has better cold weather performance. So the 10W30 goes down, looks like down to 0 Fahrenheit or 18 Celsius. So you could use 10W30. I'm using what's on the cap. That is what is recommended. Refer to your owner's manual if you have any doubts. And a little tip is to write your mileage on the oil filter before you change it. That way when you look at it later, you can see how many miles was on the vehicle. And also you can write it in your manual too. Okay, so we are under the truck. This is the transmission right here. And right there is the oil pan. Now, right here you have the drain plug, and this is where the oil is going to come out of. So, okay, so you want the pan underneath of the drain plug, and put your ratchet on there. I mean, most people know this step, but now you will just pull the plug out, and there it goes. While it's draining, we can work on the filter. Okay, so you can see the filter right here, and you can grab a hold of it and just with your filter wrench and start it turning like that. These should not be real tight. So I guess I used a Mobile 1 last time, looks like. And as you can see, the filter is not completely off yet, but there is oil that is draining. It's of course going into the pan because I made sure the pan was under it. Now there will be oil come out of the filter. And one thing to check, let me dump this out. Okay, we need to look at the front of the filter and make sure there is a rubber seal on the front of this filter. You see it there? Because if that seal didn't come off, that means that it is still up here. And you can even take your finger and make sure that there is nothing there. Because if there's another seal here, if it sticks when you take it off and you put your new filter on, then you're going to have trouble sealing back up. Now what we're going to do, we're going to let this sit and drain for a little bit. Do not start the engine. In fact, it'd be a good idea to take the key out. We're going to let this drain. Let it mostly filled, but I like to put a little bit of oil in the filter. And also one more thing that you want to do, get a little bit of this good fresh stuff on your finger and go around your seal. Put a layer around your seal to just get it wet. That way it will help to seal up. Once it starts touching, You don't want to use the wrench on this, because if you do, you will never get it off. You just want it hand tight. Okay, that's 5 quarts. It's supposed to take 6, and we're going to see what we got so far. And it shows that it's full right now. You can see, well, kind of see. And I added part of that 6th quart to the filter. Now we'll go and start the engine. Okay, so when you get in here to start the engine, you're going to want to watch your oil pressure gauge. Okay, when you turn it on, of course, the gauge goes down to nothing because there's, of course, no oil pressure right now. Then, when you start it, right after an oil change, it's going to take a second for it to pump up, but it shouldn't be as long because we did fill the filter up. Oh yeah, clutch. See, it took a second. It stayed kind of low for a second, and then it jumped way up here. And this truck has always held really good oil pressure. So we'll let it run for a few minutes and get the oil circulated through the engine, and then we'll check it again. Okay, so the truck has been running for a few minutes. Let me get over here. Okay, so the truck has been running for a few minutes. The oil pressure is maintaining pretty good. You can actually give it a little bit of gas. Oil pressure goes up some. And you can tell the temperature is coming up a little. Alright, now we'll go under it and check for leaks. But we can look at the drain plug. It is dry, no fresh oil. And check the filter, and around the filter, no fresh oil. Alright, you might be able to see that, but the oil level is like right in here somewhere, which means you need to add some, about a half quart. And it is perfect. Okay, now I'm taking the used oil and I'm putting back into this container to take it to be recycled. But if you have ever tried sticking a funnel in a jug and pouring, well, pretty much anything into it, you'll notice that when you start pouring it, the funnel will get filled up and it'll just very slowly drain down. There is a little trick. Find you a stick or something and stick it in between the funnel and the mouth of the bottle. Then it will go down very quickly. Okay, so we have our oil changed. Man, with that hood up, my face looks red. Red hood, of course. The sun reflecting off of it. Anyway, with that, with the oil changed, we still have our light on the dash. Let me show you. See, it says change engine oil. Well, I thought we just did that. We did. Now, we need to reset that. So what you will want to do, turn your key back to the off position there, and when you turn it on, get your foot ready on the accelerator pedal down here, and don't start it. Just turn this on, and then within 5 seconds, you'll give it 3 pumps on the pedal. So here we go. Turn it on. 1, 2, 3. Then over here on this, you'll see it flash. Now, when we start it back up, after the battery light goes away, we have nothing. I'm sure a lot of y'all already knew how to change your oil. Probably didn't teach you anything. At least I hope it was relatively entertaining. If anything else, just a little update and a little oil change. But I am going to be replacing another part, a air conditioner part, and that video will be coming up soon. We will have some tiny house videos coming up soon, so subscribe if you haven't subscribed, if you would like to see that kind of stuff, or there will be more maintenance things on this truck or a few other vehicles that I have. Anyway, I guess that's going to be about it for this video. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.